Hi everyone. This is a little bit of a different video here because this time the camera's not pointed at me, right? But I'm recording this now because I don't want to have a video made like 12 a.m. May 1st, right? I want to get it done now. You've probably noticed throughout your life that there's a difference between motivation to do something and when you actually want to do it, and that time is critical. So now's the time, because again, I explained in one of my previous videos, I saw someone on TikTok make a similar power system to me. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly explain everything. I'm not gonna explain the actual series because I don't have time for that, right? There we go. All right, let's start. So this is the third version of the Essence system. I'm calling it Essence because, like, I don't know, I couldn't find any other name, but Essence is like the purest form of something, of a being, right? So the infinite aether is basically like God if he was a dimension, or if it was a dimension. All the essence is stored here, all the information. It's like a computer room, basically, right? I forgot to add this one part. It's basically where I am, or where some of like the quote-unquote game masters are. I might make a game master sort of thing in the series, where basically they regulate the infinite ether, because it's like a generator for negative and positive essence zones, which make up existence, right? And after existence, you have the world. And I'll quickly go over everything, like all of the points, not in order, of course. I'll just explain them simplest to most complicated. Okay. So once you have the world, you have inanimate objects, right? Any outside factors, like any spirits or people, or I don't know, fucking the universe, I guess, causes these inanimate objects to get essence, right? But a normal inanimate object wouldn't have essence, right? Then once you have the world, you also have life itself, right? And when a person is born, they automatically get neutral essence, right? So imagine negative and positive essence to be kind of like the metaphysical, right? A metaphysical feeling. That's why you feel happy or sad, but in like extreme quantities, because that's when you're feeling it, right? Negative and positive essence zones are like the chromosomes of the universe. They don't have to do with a person's negative or positive essence, but they are kind of their own thing. I should probably change the name of these though. Anyway, neutral essence is like purely metaphysical, right? You can't really feel it unless you output more of it, right? Look, purely metaphysical. So through mental math, you can use this neutral essence to create negative and positive essence, your own, right? And they each have their effects down here, which I'll explain later. But once you have a life, you also have a soul. Now, the soul is responsible for core essence production, the fragments of it. Oh wait, no, this is just the structure of it. The core is responsible for essence production. The fragments are like storage, and the overall shape is basically like decides the final results of what makes you up, right? And through the soul, you have the body, and then you have all the bodily functions. You have the mind, essence control, and art activation. Now, what is art activation? Imagine this like your innate power. It is the direct projection of your soul. I wouldn't say projection. I would say like, imagine your will had powers, right? Like, how do I explain this? You know how stands or curse techniques in JoJo's and JJK are like the embodiment and manifestation of one's soul? Yeah, this is kind of what it is, right? Now, in arts can go through an evolution through total focus, and how would I call it? Through an epiphany, right? Epiphany? Basically, through an intense realization and mental freedom, your art can attain an evolution, right? This evolution is permanent. I'm not sure if I want to make it once or twice or more, but basically it can improve to its peak form. Now, there's a difference between peak form and peak current mentality. I guess this is like what happens after you reach peak mentality, right? But holy shit, that sound. Anyway, this is just the upgrade, basically. You're not fully locked in once you're using this, right? This is why total focus. I should fucking erase this right now. I should write realization or mental freedom or something like that. Can't believe I forgot to write this. Supreme arts are not like evolutions at all. They are basically the peak of your current art. Like one effect or one attack that exemplifies the max capabilities of your arts. Right? Alright, so we're done with that section. Actually, no, there's one more part. The soul can also die. Now, once you die, you kind of have this, like, how do I explain it? Like, your soul kind of turns into a spirit, right? A pure spirit. Now, I wrote pure thinking that I was going to do some, like, elaborate shit, right? But I really don't have that much in mind when I wrote this. I'm assuming I wrote pure because there's also this thing called figures, which is like the main entities resulting from malfunctions in the infinite ether translating to existence, right? So we're going to refer to this as a pure spirit. Now, a pure spirit can either turn into a figure by certain methods that I won't go over currently because this is not that video. I might make like another video about that, but you're not going to get that in this video. Sorry. You can transcend into a realm after death. Now, heaven, things like heaven and hell in this universe are kind of like mental states that you go to after, but they're not anything like what you think they are. Or you just kind of cease to exist and you get absorbed back into the universe, into the infinite ether, and the cycle continues, right? Those are the three options. So this, holy shit, my handwriting. No, oh, we still have one more part. This is like one category though. Now, once your body, mind, mostly just your mind, right? Because you need your mind more than your soul or your body to actually use essence properly. It's like having the limitless without the 6 eyes. You can barely use it. But once you're in perfect unity, or basically like in a flow state, I'm calling this an awakening meter. An awakening meter because I take inspiration from certain games, right? But this is basically just my version of flow state. Alright. That's one section. Pretty simple, right? So far? Right? Yeah, okay, great. Now, in essence, for actual usage, there are 5 techniques for this. There's essence reinforcement, essence awareness. And reinforcement is basically just adding essence to something, to yourself, right? Like strengthening yourself with essence. Essence awareness is pretty self-explanatory. It's awareness of your surroundings, like extra. Essence substitution is basically where you substitute a space with essence, right? So, for example, you kind of create like a projection of yourself and you throw it at someone, right? Kind of like how Aang does with airbending. And essence transfer, you transfer essence. The picture's right here. Come on, dumbass. All right. And there's essence exchange. Now, This might seem like, what's it called, I meant? A binding vow from JJK. It's kind of like that, but you can only exchange things that you have, and you can only exchange things for things that are possible, if that makes sense, right? So you won't, if you sacrifice like your genitals and both of your arms and both of your legs and half of your brain capacity, right, for this super mega overpowered ability, right, like in arts or extra essence technique usage ish, right? That's not really possible because you can't do it normally. It's just like a quick way of doing the other four. You're just giving something up in return temporarily. And the actual science and universe science behind this is kind of complicated, but to know if an essence exchange is worth it or not, you kind of have to know it yourself. Like deep down, if you know an exchange that you're making is worth it, then that exchange will be made. You know? Great. Now, just because, just before we get into these two, I don't go too much into math, right? So don't flame me. This is the difference between negative and positive essence. Not negative and positive essence zones, but just negative and positive essence. Negative essence is made by multiplying neutral essence by another decreasing value of neutral essence or feeling negative emotion. Now, this is basically like having two masses, neutral masses, right? But one of them is constantly decreasing while also you're in this negative state of mind causing the essence to kind of like corrupt, resulting in negative essence. Negative essence also has more damage output for more cost though, because you're using a lot of neutral essence for this. The effects are easier to manifest. Like I said, neutral essence is kind of like a cognitive thing, purely. Negative and positive essence, you can kind of just like accidentally feel, even if you don't practice the system, because it's like real emotions, sort of. So still metaphysics though, if I'm even using that word correctly. It has a natural corroding effect, like decaying or negativity for the user and the target. If you're using negative essence for too long, you're kind of just going to start to mentally and then physically decay. And same for your target if you're using this on them. Causes negativity on the psyche for those using negative essence for too long, and yeah, I think you get the gist for this. And it's the same thing for positive essence, except I'd say the equation or how positive essence is made is definitely a lot more complicated. So, made by a low amount of negative essence, right? So you're already supposed to make this, and neutral essence simplified. Now, I remember struggling to make an equation for positive essence. Obviously, I could just do the same shit right here where I said, oh, you're increasing the value. Oh, wait, that's actually what I did right here. Fuck, I'm a dumbass. My apologies. Anyway, let me get in the position real quick. Sorry. Alright. You kind of just simplify them. I don't know how you do that in your mind, but if I had to put it into terms, just like remove everything else that's on your mind currently at that second. Or just like clash them into each other. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Right? Like squaring something in math. Or square root. Which one decreases again? I don't know. But negative and neutral essence simplified, low amounts, then multiplied by another mass of negative essence while increasing its value and feeling positive. I don't know how the fuck this equates to positive, like from a negative and neutral standpoint, if that even makes sense, first of all. But even if it doesn't, worst case scenario, I just tell someone it's fiction, so go fuck yourself, right? I mean, that's why I put the warning right here. Anyway. just like this point right here, the more generating effects you're using with positive essence, the more cost it requires that. The effects are easier to manifest. Natural energetic effect for user and target. So you might be like, oh, that's actually really good. Why don't I just constantly use that? Well, apart from the cost, right? You're constantly draining yourself. But positive essence and overabundance of it will cause an extreme feeling of euphoria and over elevation on the psyche for those using positive essence for too long. So basically, you're getting high. Like, you're gonna drug yourself to death. So it's either you drug yourself to death, but you feel good, or you decay your body and you feel bad. So I don't know. I guess if I had to commit suicide with one of these, I'd like, choose positive essence. Also, just because I said that, YouTube, please don't like age restrict this video, please. Yeah, no, but that's it. I wanted to make it simple but creative and fluid. I wanted it to make sense too, and I don't know. I kind of just want people, like, if there were characters, I would want them to use essence as freely as possible. There's also essence, certain like essence variations that I didn't write because I'm a dumbass, so I might have to make a V4 because I already wrote the video, right? Like, I already explained everything here, so I might have to make a V4. Also, the presentation in general is kind of choppy, but at least I got this out, right? Alright, take a screenshot if you want. Okay. And thank you for watching.